Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. Did the Chiefs coaching decisions versus the Bills rage Hughes questions? We're going to talk about that. But first, BetUS is powering this episode.
Yeah, head over to betus.com, check out what they got going on. Right now, you can use the code YouTube150, 150% deposit match bonus on your first deposit. On your next two, you get 125% deposit match bonus. Those are up to $2,000. So get all those free plays with those deposit matches. The site's easy to use, plenty of props. Go to betus.com, use the promo code YouTube150. Let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way. Steve, let's jump into what we were going to talk about today. The Chiefs' coaching decisions versus the Bills, raising some huge questions here. And before we get going, I want to say thank you for being here. I want to say smash that like button. I want to say hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and you love the Chiefs. And I'll also preface it with this. Yeah, these are some huge decisions the fans are raising that we're talking about. But the coaches probably are a little more in-depth on everything. These are just things that we all wanted to talk about. One of the things that I wanted to bring out, and this has been mentioned a bunch of times, and I seen it all over social media yesterday, Steve, was Xavier Worthy being so effective in the first drive of the game and then being completely faded out, barring Patrick Mahomes throwing it out of bounds on a play that he should have. And I will say Xavier Worthy probably should have drug his feet as well. I think Andy Reid even said that. But what do you think about not getting Xavier Worthy involved in the second half? Like, I went back and watched the film, and I didn't see Buffalo do anything differently. We just kind of went away from it.
I wouldn't even go as far as saying the second half. I think it was after the first drive.
True.
Like, they just completely went away from it. What was working and working well, they went away from it, not sure why. Xavier Worthy was doing pretty good at getting open. He was getting yards after the catch. I mean, he was doing Xavier Worthy things.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I would like to say they went away from it because they wanted to get into the running game, but we all know they abandoned that completely too. I'd like to say they got away from hitting Xavier Worthy because they started peppering the ball to Travis Kelce, but he only had 2 receptions on the day.
Right.
And then you got D-Hop out there who's on the thumbnail here. It's just like, where was he? Why were they not using him?
Yeah. Tons of things to get into, but you mentioned this one. So here's another one everybody was talking about. Why did Andy Reid and them only go with 15 carries to running backs? Why did Kareem Hunt only get 14 carries after being very, very effective? I think that's another big talking point. It looked to me as though Buffalo was having a little bit of trouble stopping the run game when Kareem Hunt got it going. And we all know Kareem Hunt is more of a big back that the more carries you give him, the more effective he seems to get. It was only last game, maybe even the game before that as well. We were struggling a little bit in the second half, and then they went strictly to a Kareem Hunt diet, and they just marched it right down the field, put 7 points on the board. So I wonder why we didn't see that as much during the Buffalo game, because we were not completely out of it where we had to throw the ball all the time. Like, we was not out of this game. A lot of Buffalo fans act like this was just a big, huge, groundbreaking victory. But it was within 1 score this entire game. I don't know what they're talking about. Yes, you won by 9 at the end, but if the Chiefs get that stop on Josh Allen, you've got a chance to kick a field goal and win the game.
Right. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, I know that Andy's had, like, full confidence in the defense this year. The defense has kind of been what's winning the Chiefs games most of the time this season. They've been very, very good, but it kind of makes you wonder, like, did Andy think that they needed to put a lot of points on the board to beat Buffalo? And is that why he was trying to pass the ball more and not have that slow, grinded out game? I'm not for sure. It could be 9 million different things. To me, when we talked about it yesterday, Mike, I just kind of felt like there was no consistent game plan whatsoever. When I went back and watched the game, there was nothing that the Chiefs were trying to accomplish. There were no goals they were trying to take care of. It was literally the most random play calling I've seen in a long time from Andy Reid. So I don't know if Buffalo was just shutting down little things that he was trying to do. So they were trying to go an opposite way, reverse course, go this way. I have no idea, but it did not look very cohesive at all.
Yeah, I think to that point, I thought the coordinators for Buffalo and even Sean McDermott in general, I thought they coached pretty well across the board. I thought the defensive coordinator handled what Andy Reid threw his way. And I think the offensive coordinator pretty much outmatched Spags. And there was a few things there, which is kind of weird. You don't really beat Spags very often, and you don't really beat Andy Reid head-to-head very often when it comes to battling the football mind, Steve. But this is one of the things. So Spags had a few. And a few things people were talking about was throughout the game, there was a lack of Josh Allen being spied throughout the game. There were several times maybe he was, but for a big percentage of it, there was not. And then the fact that the Chiefs are not generating a pass rush from the front four. It's just not happening, Steve. We've got Mike Dannon at this point, and I know he's missed a lot of games with a pec issue, but he's only got a half sack to this point in the year. Chris Jones, 4 sacks. But do you know Chris Jones hasn't got a sack since week 4?
Right.
He's went 4 or 5 straight games now, and he's just been blanked. And I get it. He's being double-teamed. But that should be freeing up people like Mike Dannon. That should be freeing up people like George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis is struggling. The dude's got 4 sacks on the season. We thought he was going to get double digits, and he still could. But you cannot have this pass rush. And then to go out and get Josh Uche and not have a pass rush from your front four, and Uche gets 5 snaps versus Buffalo, a team that he knows very well. To me, that struck me as an odd decision there from Spags. And there was a few more. We'll talk about those in just a second. I'll let you comment on that one.
What is the deal with the edge rushers? It's like you go get Cam Thomas, he doesn't play. You go get Joshua Uche, he doesn't play. Why are you adding pieces to the defense if they're not going to play? I mean, I would like to think when Charles Omenihu comes back from his injury that he's going to be starting and playing a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like, I'm starting to question it. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're not even using the pieces that we're putting in. But maybe that's the key, man. Maybe we got to get Charles Omenihu back on the field. He was very successful in Spags' defense last year in a small window. Of course, he had the suspension at the beginning of the year, and then, of course, he got hurt and was out for the rest of the season. But that small window he was in there, he was executing, man. He was a high-level edge rusher, and I think maybe he could give us a spark when he gets back. But you're right, man. We're getting no pressure on the QBs. We're making their lives too easy. They're being able to sit there and run their offense and execute their game plans. Like, we're not doing anything to disrupt. And it's very strange because Spags defenses are known for confusing quarterbacks and disrupting game plans.
Yep.
And we just haven't been there the last few weeks.
Yeah, and look, I want to say Omenihu can be effective when he comes back too. But last year he was effective. He come back off a suspension. This year he's coming back off a major knee injury. There could be a lot of getting up to game speed. There could be a lot of mental issues there. I wouldn't think Charles Omenihu's a guy that's going to have that kind of stuff, but it is very possible. You can't just write it in the, just write it down and say, hey, it's perfect. So I would love to see that. Let's go to the chat for just 1 second because this is a question everybody had yesterday. About Time says, why the hell did we sign a new wide receiver when left tackle and corner is the need spots? Steve, we released a video yesterday. I don't think a lot of Chiefs Kingdom seen it. I don't think a lot of our subscribers seen it. YouTube kind of done a very good job of like burying that on a Monday night. Go out and watch it. We posted the video, The Truth About Tyquan Thornton, and we covered it. We covered his college stats. We covered some of the things that scouts were talking about. We covered what he was able to do in the league. We covered what we think his role will be with the team. Very in-depth video, and YouTube said at nay. Nobody shall see this. So go back and watch that if you haven't already, Steve. But Tyquan Thornton, this guy is a Brett Veach special, right? He's a second round. Basically, he's a bust. New England thought he was a bust. They cut him. Okay, the same way everybody wanted to cut Sky Moore. His hands, not the greatest. They're very tiny. He's got tiny hands. But he's fast. He's fast, and he's got a chance to turn his career around here. But a lot of people were very confused. Why are you doing this when it's obvious we need a left tackle and we need a CB2? Najee Johnson, he struggled. He has struggled for weeks now.
I mean, if I don't see Joshua Williams out there next week, then I don't understand what they're doing. Like, I know a lot of people were down on Joshua Williams, but Najee Johnson is not the answer.
Steve, it's bad. Look, I want to bring the Najee Johnson, Josh Williams thing. Josh Williams was getting hammered by our fans when he played in Vegas. He played 29 coverage snaps in Vegas. And yeah, he didn't do the greatest, but he scored a 53 overall PFF, and he allowed 1 reception for 17 yards. And fans were about to pitchfork him to death over 1 catch for 17 yards and a 53 coverage grade. He comes out versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay on a Monday night, opposite of Trent McDuffie, who, by the way, give up a touchdown versus Tampa Bay. And he comes out and scores a 62 coverage grade, allows 2 catches for 18 yards. That's it. So in those 2 games that everybody wanted Josh Williams thrown off the planet, the dude allows 3 catches for a total of 30 yards. Do you realize Najee Johnson, just versus Buffalo, give up 9 catches? 9 catches for 103 yards and a tutty. And the week before in Denver, where Josh Williams got pushed to the bench and only got 4 snaps, he allowed 3 catches for 54 yards. So this dude's essentially give up 15 catches on the year, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Josh Williams is getting hammered for giving up 7 catches for 75. It makes no sense out here what people are seeing on the field. Josh Williams is obviously the more physical guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's more physically imposing. He's taller. He's longer. He's faster. I don't think there
may be a mental problem here, but obviously Najee, and I love Najee, but Najee's having a mental breakdown too. I mean, Buffalo picked on him all day. That was their game plan, was go after Najee Johnson. After rewatching it, it was go after Najee Johnson. That was their number 1 game plan.
Well, I mean, when you can torch a guy, why not keep doing it? But to get back to about time, talking about signing Tyquan Thornton, I think people are looking at it wrong. I don't think that signing Tyquan Thornton has anything to do with this team right now. It has nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it. They went and got a guy for cheap, stuck him on the practice squad. It was just something. And the minute I saw New England released him, I kind of had an idea that Brett Veach might take a look at him just because of the ridiculous speed and things like that.
Steve, I actually thought he could have been a trade target earlier in the year before they released him. I thought that was a name. I had it circled that the Chiefs maybe could. That was one of those kind of Brett Veach guys you go trade for, right?
Right. So I guess to answer your question about time, I don't think it's a matter of why did they sign a receiver instead of a left tackle or a cornerback. I think it's just that was available and it was out there. And he chose to come to the Chiefs and go to the practice squad. I don't think it has anything to do with they were looking for something, really. I don't think they were out there searching for another wide receiver. I think if they're going to look at anything, they got to start looking at the left tackle position, but they have literally sat on their hands to this point, and there's not really anything left that you can do.
Yeah. I don't think there's many left tackles out there available. Again, people wanting Bakhtiari. They're wanting to go after, Wanye, or not Wanye, I'm sorry. They want to go after Donovan Smith. But we've made this point time and time again, and I'm starting to see it come around on X. There was a few people tweeting about it yesterday, and it caught a little steam. Donovan Smith is not that much of an upgrade, if any upgrade, over the way Wanye's played this year. Like we've been saying
Mike,
this.
I don't know how many times I can say that. Wanye Morris was just as good as Donovan Smith last year.
But Steve,
Donovan
when you
Smith
say
is
it,
not a good tackle.
When you say it, it's crickets. When some random dude on X says it catches steam, and now it's a talking point.
Yeah,
but look,
I don't care.
We've been on this. We've been on this. Wanye is just as good or better than what you're going to get with Donovan Smith. Now, look, Donovan Smith does provide some more depth, maybe some leadership. I wouldn't mind having him on the team for that. But to be honest, it's just not that much of an upgrade at the actual left tackle spot. And then again, how much game shape is he in? He could be eating Pringles for all we know and not even ready to go. So I'm with you about time. I think a lot of people wanted to talk about that, and I'm sure people will bring it up again. Steve, another thing. So the not spying Josh Allen, the no pass rush, and then Najee at CB2 seems to be big blunders by the Chiefs and how Buffalo attacked us, right? They attacked us. But here's one more that I thought Spags kind of did and that I thought was very weird. And this goes back to not wanting to play Josh Williams as well. It really does. So in dime situations, Spags chose to play safeties in roles where they were in man-to-man coverage more. And he did not elect to put Josh Williams or Chris Rowland Wallace on the field in dime situations. Josh Williams had 0 coverage snaps. They put him on the field. So what did Josh Williams do to earn 0 coverage snaps? It blows my mind right now. Like, they must have a Twitter, like, Spags must have a burner just trying to appease Chiefs Kingdom. I don't know what he's doing. But that's odd to me. But, Steve, our safeties are not great in man-to-man coverage. That's not their strength, and it showed that. Josh Williams picked on him all, or not Josh Williams, I'm sorry. Josh Allen picked on him all day.
Even LCF in the chat makes a point. Najee Johnson is a converted safety. He shouldn't be in man coverage anyway. He should be like a nickel guy, if anything.
Yeah, he's got good technique, but the kid's never played corner at a high level, and now we're just throwing him right in.
I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. And the thing about it is in his first 2 seasons, Joshua Williams was thrown into some really high-profile games and performed well.
Right. Sam says they've lost confidence in Williams. He has 0 snaps. Why have they lost confidence in Josh Williams? We go back and look at what he did. He was fine. He was fine. He started versus Tampa Bay. He's completely fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
He gives up 2 catches for 18 yards, or maybe it was 1 catch for 18. That was it. McDuffie was the one that got picked on that day. I'm not
never
for
really
sure anybody's
understood.
paying attention.
It's not even that. I guess it's just like, just personally, I've never understood the Nazi Johnson above Joshua Williams in the depth charts thing. I don't get that.
Nazi's
at all.
scrappy, right? That's what he's known for. He's good technically, and he's scrappy. He's a scrappy dude. But dude, Josh Allen picked on him.
Of course he did. By all
Bad.
means, Nazi Johnson was pretty much a UDFA. If we hadn't snagged him in the seventh
for
round
sure.
there, he was a UDFA, a safety from Marshall. I mean, we spent a 4th round pick on Josh Williams. Develop him. Like, if you think that he needs to get better, do what we do with corners.
I'm a
like,
little
what have
off
we
there.
always done with corners? Like, L'Jarius Sneed, he was a converted safety. So in Nazi's defense, Sneed was the same thing. But Sneed, the way he is, the size, the length, the physicality, that's Joshua Williams. That's not Nazi Johnson. So I don't know. I just feel like Joshua Williams kind of falls into that L'Jarius Sneed and Charvarius Ward type of body and type of corner. And I guess I'm with Sam. I think they've lost confidence in him for one reason or another. I don't know if it's something off the field. I have no idea. But, I mean, I feel like he fits the mold of the corners that they normally develop into really good ones. So I don't get it.
Yeah, it's just odd. That's just one thing. And again, Spags does good game plans all the time. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He was off a little bit, the other day. There was just some questionable things. And there could be reasons for this. Maybe Chris Rowland Wallace and Josh Williams is nursing a little bit of an injury. They didn't want to put him on the field, and we just don't know about it.
Well, Perry says maybe he's in the doghouse for the penalties he keeps getting.
I mean, that's a possibility. How many
be,
penalties has
but
he had this year?
I
He
think
had
he
a
got
couple
one.
on special teams.
I think he got one on special teams the other day. He ran out of
special
bounds, ran
teams,
back in.
yeah, but look, special teams shouldn't keep you off the field for defense.
No, but I mean, when he was in, he got a horse collar tackle.
He got a horse collar tackle, and he had a holding penalty that give a first down versus
and he also
Tampa
had
Bay,
a late hit out of bounds.
that was the special teams, I believe.
No, that was a coverage one.
Sure.
I think. Yeah, I think so. I can't.
Well,
remember
either
for
way,
sure.
penalties, penalties. If you're going to talk about penalties, why is Juwan Taylor on the team?
Yeah, true.
Like, I mean, some of these are just game
let's
penalties.
talk about
but,
the really big ones.
yeah, let's talk about the
big-
glaring offensive ones.
Yeah,
You want to take it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you go get DeAndre Hopkins, a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He comes in. He's very effective in your offense. You don't use him that much in the first game, but you look at the tape and you're like, damn, this dude's winning reps.
Yeah.
We got to go to him. So with that mindset and that mentality, they go out in his second game with the Chiefs, and he has damn near 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because he does what D-Hop does, and they were looking for him. Since then, Mike, he's been a ghost. I mean, he had 26 snaps against Buffalo. Is that right? 26?
Yeah. Biggest game of the year,
6.
guys. Biggest game of the season for the Chiefs. And the
That
Chiefs
brings up
went away
It's one of
from
two
their
things.
top trade acquisition.
It's one of two things. Either Andy is just, I don't understand. I can't be on Andy's level. Andy's a football genius, so I'm not questioning what he's doing as far as
None of this is
Right.
like a knock to Spags or Andy. Like in no
No.
world do I think I'm as football smart as them.
Hell no.
This is
Not
just
even close.
These are just addressing questions that all of Chiefs Kingdoms had.
Yeah. Oh, Andy Reid has more cheeseburger grease and football knowledge in his pinky finger than I'll ever have.
He's got more knowledge of cheeseburgers.
But
too.
no, I think it's just like obvious stuff. Sometimes you don't have to be the smartest person in the world to see the obvious. Sometimes when you're in too deep, you don't see the stuff that's right in front of your face. And it's very odd to me that every time the Chiefs get a viable target or a good receiver, they don't use them. It's the strangest thing. And the only thing that comes to my mind that would make sense as to why DeAndre Hopkins only had 26 snaps against Buffalo in the biggest game of the season, it would have to be something to do with his MCL injury, something to do with his knee. Maybe they were taking it easy on him because of trying to nurse the knee. It's not been reported. He was not in any injury reports. But could that be something? Because nothing else really makes sense.
Well, there is one other thing. Juju came back.
Oh,
Juju
wow.
runs a similar row. So I'm just saying, I don't
Almost
put Juju
left.
out. I don't care what you do. I don't put Juju out there over him, in my opinion. But Juju and him run a similar role. So the Chiefs elected to run Juju at 20-some snaps, right?
Man.
Here it
Mike,
is.
That's not an acceptable answer.
Juju Smith-Schuster ran 20 snaps.
I know.
He eats into D-Hop's 26. The
That's
most
crazy,
surprising one
dude.
here is Justin Watson at 31 snaps. How does Justin Watson get more snaps than a potential Hall of Famer?
Not potential Hall of Famer. He is going to be a Hall of Famer, and he is far and away the best receiver on this team. Justin
I was
Watson
talking about Juju. No joke.
Justin Watson having 5 more snaps than DeAndre Hopkins
Wild.
is absolutely batshit crazy.
Now look, they don't run the same spot.
I
so that's what
don't
I'm saying.
care.
I'm telling you, I think Justin Watson is sliding into the MVS role. I think that's what they want to use him for. So he's going to continue to have these crazy amounts of snaps, just like MVS did last year. We're going to be like, why? But I think that's why. I think he's going to slide into that role. But Juju in no world should be eating snaps from DeAndre Hopkins.
Absolutely not. And like Richie says that Justin Watson seems like a safety blanket, and I feel like that's kind of been a thing over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's
So I get that, Richie. But at the same time, why in the hell are you not using DeAndre Hopkins as your safety blanket if you're Patrick Mahomes? DeAndre Hopkins literally just throw the ball somewhere in his vicinity and he's going to catch it 98% of the time. That's the best security safety blanket you can freaking have on a football field. And what I don't understand. I just don't. I don't get it. Maybe, like I said, maybe he is nursing an injury. That's something we talked about when we got him. He has a partially torn MCL. So, I mean, maybe they're trying to keep him at a lower snap count until we get later into the year. That's a possibility. That would make sense to me somewhat. But just telling me that he's losing snaps to Juju Smith-Schuster and Justin Watson because they run similar stuff, I can't buy that. That's absurd.
I'm just trying to come up with a reason. And,
Right,
and
I'm not saying that you shouldn't say that, but I'm just saying that's a stupid reason.
Right. Charles Goldman, A to Z Sports, he had talked about this yesterday. And by the way, he may be coming on the show here soon. I talked to him the other day. He may swing in one morning and talk with us for like 10, 15 minutes. He's a busy dude. He may be able to do that. But this would have been a good one to run by him. He said, and he actually threw this out in his article yesterday. He said that could it be something to do with the trade conditions? Like Brett Veach and them are trying to limit snaps in order to get better trade compensation or to not give up something.
Hey, man,
If that's the case, look,
that's dumb too.
If that's the case, that's tanking. And why are you tanking? Like, you don't do that against Buffalo. I think that's off. Maybe that's not even what he meant, but that's how it read. It said something about it may be something to do with trade conditions. If I could bring up the article, I'd do it.
Don't worry about the article. Look at this. What was D-Hop's snap count in the first 2 games? Let's look at that.
I mean, he wasn't a lot in the first game, but it did go up in the second game.
And he was dominant in the second game.
Right.
And another thing, if you don't have DeAndre...
This is the lowest one he's had. This is the lowest he's had since his first game.
So I guess that kind of answers some questions that some of Chiefs Kingdom had post-game, which was, how in the hell does Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins only account for like 3 receptions or 4 receptions the entire game or whatever it was? I guess this kind of shows you, okay, the thing about it is, Mike, you want both of them on the field at the same time as much as possible. Absolutely do, because they're both guys that teams tend to want to double team, right? So you want them on the field at the same time. They're going to take heat off of each other, and if not, you're going to have Xavier Worthy going to town. So it's like, or Juju, or Justin Watson, whoever the heck you want to put out there. But like, that's the thing. If D-Hop's only getting 26 snaps, is that a direct correlation of why Travis Kelce had a poor showing? Because he's literally out there just getting swamped. They had nothing else to worry about.
Justin Watson ain't demanding no double team. I'm sure Xavier Worthy demands a safety over the top, but I think we've seen Xavier Worthy beat guys all day long. He was wide open and nobody could even get the ball to him.
Which is insane because the entire first drive, that's just what they were doing. and then they just quit. It's a very confusing game. It's a very confusing game, and I know.
It felt wild, didn't it?
Look, man, I guarantee you, I know what at least 50% of Chiefs Kingdom's going to say right now.
You already know it. We're holding back.
Look, man, it's chess. It's not checkers. It's
Steve, I just seen that in the chat.
Andy's holding back. Nuh-uh. No, you didn't.
I swear to you. Jacob, our boy says chess, not checkers.
I don't think so, man. I can't buy that.
Look,
I can't ever buy that.
This was a narrative yesterday. Okay, so now Andy holds back his playbook. He's holding it back. But now Spags is doing it. Somebody said the reason we didn't spy Josh Allen is because we're saving something. What do you mean? Like QB spy is not like a great concept that Spags invented. That if you see it once, that's just called football. You just do that against quarterbacks that get out of the pocket.
Like
you're not saving anything. You just didn't call it.
Right. I mean, calling a poor game, you're never going to call a bad game and not do obvious stuff just because of. I don't get that one. The only thing I could see the Chiefs possibly doing and saving it for the playoffs is kind of preserving some of the older players like Kelsey or DeAndre Hopkins or something like that, trying to make sure they're healthy for the playoff run.
Or some of the window dressing on specific plays, like some of the shifts, some of the formations. I
could buy that, but
save some of that.
I think someone saying they didn't spy Josh Allen on a 4th and 2 which decided the entire game, which could cost you the 1 seed in the playoffs, make you play one more game. That's absurd. That's the dumbest shit
crazy.
I've ever heard, Mike. That's what that is.
It's pretty bad, and I know that offends people. It really does. It gets them. Dude.
Well, Mike, if that's real,
I'm just not in that.
If that's real, that offends me. Okay.
Yeah, because I just can't.
Because that's ignorant. Yeah, that's stupid.
Now look, Andy said yesterday that he thinks that some of these window dressing, some of these shifts and things are causing his offensive players to think too much, and he said that they may dumb this down a little bit. Are we going to see an even more vanilla style offense from Andy Reid going forward here? I don't know if we need that versus the Panthers. I feel like the Panthers could be a get-right game, not dumb it back to nothing and let the Panthers stay in the game because you're
Mike,
just throwing a vanilla offense
damn well
out.
They're not going to win by any more than 10 points.
Dude, some part of me just wishes they would just romp that ass. But I can't get behind it.
You know that's not going to happen, bro. The thing about it is could the offense be dumbed down somewhat? Yeah, I do think Andy Reid outsmarts himself several times a game. Like I said, sometimes when you're that deep into it, you don't see what's right in front of your face, and I think you just got so many weapons out there. I feel like maybe they are overthinking it at times, especially even Mahomes. Like, just throw the ball to Kelsey, throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins, give them shots, give them chances to make plays. I mean, look what happened with Noah Gray. Noah Gray gave him a couple chances to make plays. He made the plays. Throw the deep ball to Xavier Worthy. Eventually, you're not going to throw one out of bounds, hopefully.
Well,
so it's like...
That's remained to be seen.
Yeah.
Steve, Ed Ortero says we need to get Xavier Howard. He'd be CB2. Xavier Howard will probably not play in this league anymore. We covered this a few weeks ago. He got in trouble in the offseason sending explicit pictures to a minor and extorting somebody. Like, this dude, he's probably not going to play anymore. Like, we can give that one up. I don't think that's going to happen.
Do you think that Andy meant by dumbing it down, or like not necessarily dumbing it down, but taking it back a little bit? Do you think that could go along with him saying I should have called more run plays? Like, maybe they just get back to running the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the obvious thing that was missing, right?
Some of the best offensive drives we've seen this year has just flat out featured Kareem Hunt all the way up the field.
Well, look, man, if you establish that running game, it's no secret.
That's simple.
Basic football. If you establish the run game and you're able to do that, control clock, you're also going to open up passing.
Right.
And I feel like we just go out there and start passing into a brick wall, and we don't learn our lesson. We just keep doing it.
Right. Jacob says he was saying chestnut checkers because the players, not the play calls, because it's a long season. Hey, I
can buy that, man.
Look, I get it. I totally get it.
But not this game.
Week 11 versus the Bills to wrap up a number 1 seed the time to do it?
No.
That doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense, a lot of this stuff.
Very questionable.
I think that sometimes Chiefs Kingdom they get to a point to where they think that Andy and them can do no wrong, that you just you cope. You cope. And I think the hold back theory is a coping mechanism for like when we lose or we don't look good. It's just that's something to make you feel better, right?
I guess so. Or
I just don't buy it.
It's kind of the same thing, though, Mike. I
Could
think
be
it's
wrong.
just
I don't know.
it's just people trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense, right? Because
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
It's the same. It's the same thing that we're doing.
You don't
it's just a
understand
different
why
angle.
some offensive mind like Andy Reid can just outthink himself to the point to where he doesn't use his best offensive weapon minus Patrick Mahomes and D-Hop and Kelsey, which really didn't get used either. So he don't really use his top 3 weapons in a game versus the biggest team on the schedule?
Yeah, really
That's
confused.
weird. No D-Hop, no Kelsey, no Kareem Hunt, to be honest. He used a
Super
rookie,
weird.
Xavier Worthy, and
For
Mahomes
one
still couldn't hit
drive.
him. Yeah, and he still couldn't hit him.
I don't
And
know.
outside of that, what offense do we have to show for it without that?
Like I told you, man, it was just it was not cohesive whatsoever. It seemed like a disheveled game plan that got switched up 3 or 4 times. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk more about it here in a minute. I want to say I appreciate you guys for being here at the early live stream. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. It'd be much appreciated. Also, you can subscribe to the channel if you love the Chiefs. You haven't done that yet. We're going to take a quick 30-second break, and when we get back, we'll get to some of your comments. So if you have any questions or anything that you want us to talk about, throw that in the comments. Christmas is right around the corner, and we've brought back the popular Merry Chiefsmas sweater and hoodie in the store. Just go to merch.allchiefedup.com and you can use the code ACUSANTA, that's ACUSANTA, and you can get 20% off of everything in the store until the end of the year. So get your hands on those and give some gifts to your family and friends. Go get one. You need to get it now. That way you have
Santa
it.
Claus.
That way you have it to support all your Christmas events. You're gonna be making people jealous with that one.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want that? That was a big one last year. People loved it. People loved it. They want us to bring it back this year. Is it something we could just sell year round? Can you wear that on half Christmas maybe in July? Christmas in July, right?
Chiefsmas in July. Yeah, maybe.
That's funny, dude. The last little thing that I wanted to speak on here about coaching decisions. And again, these are not, it's not like anything about us being like, hey, we're better coaches. You always get those people. I remember making a comment one time and somebody said, well, if you think you're a better coach, why didn't you apply for it? That's not. Would you allow people to live? Just allow us to live. No, this was another one. It seems that I like Carson Steele, another UDFA that's been thrown into a big role. He had the 2 fumbles early, and look, I will still say that Carson Steele didn't do nothing wrong on those. Those are just good defensive plays, in my opinion. I thought they were just good defensive plays. But Carson Steele, week in, week out, has shown he's still struggling with pass protection. That's what rookies do.
He goes the wrong way every freaking
That's what
play.
rookies do.
Yeah.
And he did that again in the Buffalo game a couple occasions. Now, to me, is that not a coaching decision right there to put him in the game on certain things, knowing he's got to do pass protection, and you don't let a veteran like Samaje Perine do it? You choose not to bring back Clyde. Clyde's been ready to be brought back 2 or 3 weeks now. And look, I know a lot of people's not thrilled with Clyde, but if there's one thing he can do, he should know pass protections. He's been in the league long enough, right? So why are you not playing Perine or bringing back Clyde or so? I mean, and I know Pacheco's going to help this going forward, but even taking Kareem Hunt out on those, why are we choosing to put a UDFA in the mix? And I love Carson Steele, but why are we doing this? Because it blew up a few drives, and we've seen Patrick Mahomes get super animated about it. I feel like that's a puzzling coaching decision here. It's just as puzzling as some of these other things.
Right. Patrick Fintech says if you supposedly have the best quarterback ever, you shouldn't have to rely on the run game.
So we should just pass the ball 80 times a game.
Just pass it, bro. The thing that's funny is I think I read down in the bottom he's just a Bills fan. He said he was just poking fun or whatever. But as a Bills fan, you should know who is considered the GOAT. Tom Brady? Well, I guarantee the Patriots ran all over your ass every time they had to play you. Just go back and look at them stats. That's why Brady was good, because y'all couldn't stop their run game.
You couldn't stop that dude for 16 years. So I think it's funny. I think, look, like the Bills fans, for the most part, they're pretty normal. But you've got these people on X and stuff, and they are just outrageous.
Every fan base has
trying
some really
to talk
dumb
about
ones,
Drew
bro.
Tranquil's trying to punch somebody at the end of the game. Like, you've never heard of trying to punch a ball out.
Literally trying to punch a ball out to save the game-winning touchdown, and they thought he was just trying to punch somebody. Like, how stupid can they be?
It's
Like,
just
you have to be a
ridiculous, some of this
special
stuff.
kind of
It's like,
slap nut.
I've never seen a team. Look, I've seen a lot of sore losers, but it takes a special person to be a sore winner.
Bro, I don't know. I saw that too, and it blew my mind. I'm like, these people
They're
really
wild,
don't
dude.
know football. They really have no clue what's going on.
This game meant a lot to them. I actually seen a post yesterday. It was like, Chief fans forgot where they are, or how they got here, and all the struggles. We haven't. Okay, we've struggled. We all get it. But Buffalo acts like they won something huge the other day. They're talking like, dude, we finally got to the top. You got to the top of the mountain by beating the Chiefs in the regular season. Like, you've done this now 4 years, and it's got you on the couch come February. Like, what happened the other day? Why did that game mean so much to them? The Chiefs fell from the number 1 seed to the number 1 seed. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Well, it's the same thing every year, bro. Like, the Chiefs bounce them in the playoffs. They're just pissed for like 9 months. And then when they finally get a chance to play the Chiefs again, they go all out and beat them in the regular season. They celebrate, and then they start the cycle over again. It's okay.
And look, Buffalo's a good team. I give them a lot of credit. Steve, we give them a lot of credit the other day. We said they beat us in all 3 phases of the game. We said that Josh Allen played quarterback. He was better quarterback on the day than Mahomes. He was. Their offensive line destroyed our defensive line. Their game plans were better. Their coaches were better. They beat us across the board. We had nothing to show for it. But at the same time, I'm not that crazy enough to be like, if it happens once, it's always going to happen. Like, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and they're going to figure it out come playoff time. And we're still the number 1 seed. So it's still coming through the Arrowhead Invitational as we speak.
Yeah, Sam Lofton says, why isn't Pat rolling out like he used to avoid pressure? I've noticed that too. He's took a lot of sacks this year, like stepped up into the wrong spot, like into the pocket.
Yeah, it seems like to me he's got a very he's wanting to step up in the pocket more than get out of the pocket.
I think a lot of it is the way they're game planning him. Like, I've noticed that too. They're kind of making it to where he has to try to step up into the pocket, and then it's just he's toast.
Teams are being very.
They're not letting him get out. Like, if you noticed, I think even they pointed it out on the broadcast the other day. Like, Tony Romo kept putting that circle around there, and he was like, they want to keep the quarterback here. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to keep Mahomes in that little circle.
Russo, all the pass rushers we faced lately have been very, very disciplined in their lanes. They're containing their edges. They're doing what they got to do, and they're not over pursuing Mahomes. They're not coming in and getting like just washed out of plays a lot. Now, I have seen where Mahomes has escaped the pocket, where like they'll get a little bit too deep, and then you'll see like Jawan Taylor wash him out of the play, and he'll just come in behind. I think he did that with Peyton Hendershot. Peyton Hendershot made that nice catch there on the goal line. He didn't get in, but that was a heck of a play by Peyton Hendershot.
Man, do you kind of like Peyton Hendershot's attitude? He's
Peyton
very
Hendershot
chippy.
Dude, he's a mouthy MF.
Yeah, I kind of like it though. I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of fun.
Like,
but
well, when you're looking at a team that just plays with no intensity and they just look like they're out there stoned all the time, I don't know, bro.
Would the game have
like,
changed?
I kind of like it.
Would the game have been any different the other day if we'd had Pop in? Could Pop have provided enough spark though with like his intensity that maybe you think Pop
somebody's
got to
bring it? You know, usually Kelsey brings it. Kelsey is the most like lump on a log person I've ever seen
this year.
Yeah, dude. I mean, every time they show him on the sideline, he's just like, "Look, this is him."
Yeah, this dude just watching the Megatron, just like in a daze.
Like, what is he doing? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know. I love Travis Kelce, but what is he doing? Like I feel like he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very strange.
I think maybe
I love Travis Kelce though.
Look, I think maybe if that's really the case, he should have just retired and just signed another 2-year contract. If he's that focused on everything outside of football, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying it is.
He's finally going to do what the fans think. He's just not going to play till the playoffs. He's saving himself for the play.
Daniel Coe with the 2. Appreciate you, Daniel. He says Buffalo is on their cycle. They are.
Sexist, Daniel.
But they are. I mean, they do it every year. It's the same thing over and over again.
It's sexist. I will not take part in this.
Mike, shut up.
They're always looking for a reason to cancel us. I'll be danged if I'm going to give it to them.
How's that going to do it? You can't cancel people that don't
Steve.
care if they're canceled. You can't
Yeah,
cancel
you're right. I don't really
uncancelable people.
They've already canceled us once. We back. We back. I think
Tom
it's
says
funny,
Kelsey
man.
looks old and slow. I don't know, man. I just think the team in general, it's not just Kelsey. I wasn't trying to pick on Kelsey, but I feel like the team in general, because I've seen it out of
Yeah.
Mahomes a bit. I've seen it out of pick a player. Like, they all look like they're just kind of going through the motions right now. And I get it. It's regular season. You got a pretty healthy lead on everybody. You're 9-1. Like, it's not like you need to get out there and just lose your minds, but you got to bring some intensity to a football game. I mean, football
I honestly
is
I think that undefeated record, I really do not think the Chiefs cared about that much. And I
No.
believe everybody else really did. Like, they acted like that was a huge goal of ours. And I think that was helping fuel the fire for all these teams we were playing. It was just building an even bigger target on us for no needed reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Hey, man, that's what everybody's doing. Is that what Mahomes
No,
doing
he's
too?
playing checkers, not chess.
Is Mahomes? Yeah, I know. Is Mahomes doing that though? You think Mahomes is just out there acting like McClones just so come playoff time he can play normal and confuse people?
They're like, I thought this guy sucked. Like, wasn't he washed this year? Like, what is he doing? I just think Mahomes in general, I mean, it could be. I seen somebody in the chat ask this question, and I just forgot to address it. But they asked about Hollywood again. From everything I'm hearing from inside of the Chiefs, from the beat writers and everything, they're saying that Hollywood's just done. It's not going to happen, and if it does, it's going to be January to mid-January. And at that point, I mean, I'm assuming he could stay in game shape because he should be able to run and jog and things like that. So it's possible he can make a return, but from everything I'm hearing, it's at least January. And I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I get it. But you have games like we've had for the last 2 weeks.
You get a little concerned, right?
You get a little bit concerned. Like, I'm not going to be that concerned. I mean, we played horrible last year and we found a way to get it done. I mean, if that don't give you a little bit of like pep in your step, I don't know what will, but come on.
Baca with the 5 bomb says
Let's
the team
go.
is not showing all their pitches. It's evident in the offensive play calling. Mahomes will not roll out until the playoffs.
Baca, are you trolling?
I feel like he
Is
might
Baca
be.
trolling?
Do you pay $5 a troll?
Did you?
You know what's crazy? Like, I if this is your opinion, I fully respect it. You're allowed to have it. But like, do you think it's weird, like this is only the theme when the Chiefs play stagnant and bad, like the last 2 seasons, back when they were just burning teams up all year and still winning a Super Bowl? Why weren't they doing it then? Like, all these years of Patrick Mahomes on the highlight reels, rolling out and doing whatever, why wasn't he saving it for the playoffs?
Yeah. I mean, his entire career has been a highlight reel.
Like, I think, like, honestly, I think this is just like a coping mechanism. I do. I think it's like,
this.
The Chiefs are not looking good. We don't know why they're not looking good. They got all the pieces. It has to be this, right?
Must be saving it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like it flabbergasts people.
Yeah,
it really does.
Appreciate the 5, though, Baca. Thanks for the support, my man.
I think Baca was just being funny.
You think so?
Mahomes is not going to roll out of the pocket into the playoffs. That cannot be a serious take.
Flip says, with the league trying to protect the quarterbacks more so than in the past, TB12 retired at the age of 45. Do you all feel Mahomes will retire at the age of 40 to 45?
I think Mahomes is going to retire next season, by the way. No, I don't know if Mahomes is going to play to the same age as Brady. I really don't. I
Brady
think he
kinda
may
took
get
it
out
to
of the
an
game.
Brady took it to an extreme, didn't he?
I think
mean,
Mahomes will get out of the game earlier. I think he has more wealth built up than Brady at this point in his career.
And I mean, Brady sacrificed his entire family to keep playing football for
Yeah.
2 more years, which is
And
crazy.
I think Patrick will just want to watch Bronze and them play football or do whatever. And honestly, Tom Brady had such a gaudy career. We looked at it. Patrick Mahomes will have to play till he's 45 years old and average 4,000 yards per season. 4,000 yards when he's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. He'll have to have 4,000 plus, and he's still short of Tom Brady's all-time passing yards record. That's insane.
Well, I mean, Tom Brady
that
played.
Patrick Mahomes has been on to this point in his career, and you would have to do that is insane.
Well, I mean, imagine if Patrick Mahomes could play that division that Tom Brady played for so many years. That had to be the worst division in football of all time, and it went for a stretch of time.
Well, Mahomes has had a little luxury of that too, because the Raiders and the Broncos have been complete ass for about 10 years now.
I don't think it compares though. Like those old Buffalo
I
teams,
think all three
Jets
of their teams sucked.
Dolphins teams, they were ass, dude. They were so bad.
I guess the Chargers would be considered the closest not ass team in our division for the last 10 years, and they still stink.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is something like that, but not to that extent.
It's almost like it just takes a nice perfect storm to get what you did. Like Brady, it took it just took so many years of football to concoct that perfect storm with Tom Brady, right? And Belichick and them. But then, and I think this is why the Chiefs have got on everybody's last nerves, is because it didn't take that long again for it to happen. It just happened quick. And now people are so fatigued because they just got over Brady dominating everything. So now it's the Chiefs. So that's why I think they hate us way too quick, way too fast, comparable to Brady.
Right. I guess if now looking back to like the year 2018 or whatever, when the narrative was always, who's Brady passing the torch to? Is it going to be Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or whoever? I think it's kind of obvious now when you look back, right? It just it went from one team to the other. And
yeah.
Jay with a 5-bomb says, "What's up with Uche? Only 5 snaps. The Spag system hard to learn." Here's the thing. I will never buy that Spag system is hard to learn for a guy that is literally on the field to do nothing but pin his ears back and go after the quarterback.
Yeah, that's all you had to do.
That's literally all he's had. That's it. That's all he's for. And you don't need to know the playbook that well to do that. I'm sorry. Like, if there's plenty of times where they can put him in when he knows it's just you're going for the quarterback. That's what he does. So
I mean, it's wild too. You guys are not even going to believe this. In weeks 9, week 10, week 11, that's how much we've had Josh Uche. He's literally only rushed the passer 20 times. So we went out and got a pass rusher. He's rushed the passer 20 times in 3 weeks. That's about 6.3 off the top of my head. Look at that math, baby. 6.3 infinity per game. Okay. He had 4 versus Buffalo. That is his lowest. So the first week we went and grabbed him, he had 7. Same way with D-Hop. Wasn't a lot. You had a little bit of D-Hop. The second week, 9. It went up. D-Hops goes up. He gets 2 touchdowns. And then the third week against Buffalo, in the biggest game of the year, he goes down to 5. And he only has 5 snaps, 4 rushes, and we put him in coverage one time. Yeah. Like, he's actually had 4. 4 out of 25 snaps have been putting Josh Uche in coverage. What are we doing? You went out to get this guy to make him a pass rusher. Go pin your ears back and get the quarterback. We need that. And he's got 20% of his snaps have been coverage? What are we doing?
I don't know.
What the hell are we doing?
Chieffer says, I heard a theory that home break-ins are affecting Pat. I've seen that theory too, but I can't buy that one either. I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes, you make a lot of money.
Patrick Mahomes not have a home? Like,
if you are not taking care of your own place, that's on you, buddy. You make a lot of money.
Why does he not have a sound system, an alarm system? Well, he needs a sound system that the whole neighborhood would hear.
I'm sure he has all that, but I mean, if this is actually a problem, like, you can find ways to make this stop. Like,
hire an army. This dude makes $500 million off just football.
That's what I'm saying, dude. But I did see that, Chief. I saw people talking about
this
that.
This dude you could buy Japan and bring over their entire military and put them on your front lawn if you wanted. That's how much you made off commercials last year, bro.
Rob Miller with a 10-bomb says, if we don't get this left tackle issue or corner issue fixed ASAP, it'll be a one and done in the playoffs. Mike, what do you think about it? Because I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go ahead and make the bold prediction. They ain't doing jack squat at either of those positions.
I don't see either of those things happening, at least on the levels we want. Here's another thing. If you really wanted to look at corner, we have said this time and time again, Josh Williams didn't look that bad. They choose to just want to go with Najee. When Nazee's healthy, they just want that. And he struggled for weeks. You also brought up Keith Taylor, and Keith Taylor never got a chance. Okay? We didn't even give him, he's not got a snap since we brought him up 2 weeks ago. Kelvin Joseph almost made this team. Do you remember that in camp? He almost made the team. And he's still sitting on his couch at home, and we've not even bothered to bring him into the practice squad. Echo Boy Doe played some decent snaps for us last year. He's still out there on his couch, and we've yet to even bring him into the practice squad. So they are not, in my opinion, they are not looking for corner hard enough, in my opinion. They didn't make an attempt at the trade deadline that we know of, and they're not going to go out and pay Xavier Howard, a child molester, whatever he does. Like, he's a creep. So they're just not going to do it. So that's my thing. Like, I don't know. And Rob, I'm telling you.
Is that slander? Hey, he's coming to get you.
He's the one that did it, not me. You're sending kids underage pictures on your phone. I don't know what you're doing. Like, grow up. But, dude, I'm not going to go to the point to say that we're going to lose in the playoffs. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They'll figure out ways to go. I don't think we get bounced in the first round.
Yeah, Sam Lofton-Cleave Hallisey was another option. He was a damn good corner for us in the preseason last year.
And we let him go. We just said, hey, get out.
He's on the Browns practice squad. Just a couple things that I want to hit on just real quick. I see a lot of people saying that we should get Jason Kelsey to come out of retirement. How does that help us whatsoever?
It's not going to happen.
We have a center that's better than Jason Kelsey right now. What are we doing? What's the point?
You gonna let him? Wait, what's the theory? We slide him at center. We move Creed to left guard and Tooney to left tackle. Is that the theory? That's a lot of moving pieces when you could just get a good left tackle.
I hate it.
That's wild. I don't like that theory either.
Mike, I think you're getting trolled, brother. I think everybody's just trolling right now.
What am I getting trolled about?
Flip says it's a chess move, baby.
What is?
They're saving them plays for the playoffs.
Oh. I don't know. I don't get it.
Officials World says it make that make sense. We're on stream questioning the best coach in the NFL right now. I'm confused. It's one game.
Officials World, you haven't been here from the beginning. So to pop in at 11:52, 52 minutes into the stream and try to tell us what we're doing, you're an ass clown because we didn't do that. We've said this many times throughout this stream that we are not smarter than any of our coaches. Okay? We're not smarter than any of the coaches. We're talking about what the fans are talking about. And you're allowed to have some things like that, Officials World. Change your name to Clown World and go buzz off. Somebody put that dude in the pit. I don't even want to see him anymore. What an idiot.
Dude, why are people so dumb?
People are stupid, dude.
Like,
I've not seen that
if
ass
he were
clown
here
in this. He's never been in our chat one time. That's either a troll or a crazy Chiefs fan. And there's a lot of crazy Chiefs fans out there that you literally cannot say anything, and because their cheerleader skirt, they hadn't ironed it out that day, and their pom-poms, they can't put their pom-poms down long enough to just make a football observation.
Right. But what's funny is if he were here, we've had a disclaimer like 85 times. Like
85 times of saying, dude, we're not smarter than, we're just talking football. Like, I'm sorry that, how dare us have a damn YouTube channel where we talk football and actually speak about football?
Isn't that weird though? Like what would sports media be like in general from top to bottom?
Wouldn't exist
if you couldn't talk about stuff. Like if you're just supposed to always be like, well, Andy Reid's a good coach. It's fine.
It's good. Let's just watch the game and move on.
Yeah.
Whatever. If that's what you want to
do. Sometimes I wish I had that like level of fandom.
Me too. I think it's something to do with playing the game.
Like,
you see the game differently when you play it. It's
not even that, dude. It's just like in general. Like I feel like if you actually are like, I'm not trying to out-fan anybody or anything like that, so don't...
You are. Look at you. Get off your high horse.
No, I'm not, but I feel like most people that are really into the Chiefs, like they're like hardcore fans, they want to talk about stuff like this, and they want to, and they wonder about things when it happens, and when the Chiefs aren't playing great, they want to talk about why and,
aren't you
speculate.
Genuinely curious? I don't know.
No, I think they're just bandwagon, like, passive fans, right? Like, oh,
man.
Well, look, man, the Chiefs lost this week. It's okay. They've only lost one game, and Andy Reid's the best coach ever. See y'all next week.
Calm down. Let them listen to Taylor Swift in peace.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think that the Chiefs, like, it's kind of the same narrative. Like, this loss doesn't change anything that we've talked about all season long. It changes nothing other than the fact that they put themselves in a harder position to get the 1 seed. Other than that, I mean, it's the same narrative. It's just the Chiefs have to get it together. They have to start executing. They have to get comfortable. Patrick Mahomes has to get back to himself. They have to start utilizing some of these pieces they're bringing in. I mean, Mike, let's we talked about D-Hop, but let's just talk about this in general. Let's talk about this in general real quick, like as a whole. Think about the people. Like, what are the Chiefs doing bringing in people left and right? They've been more active in the free agent market and the trade market, like, than they have been in years. And every last person that comes in here is underutilized.
They're not.
They almost don't even use them, to the point to where they had D-Hop in the biggest game all year,
taking
26 snaps.
Cam Thomas
Cam Thomas don't play. Joshua Boucher don't play.
Martin Tuilapotu.
He don't
However
play.
he pronounces his name. It sounds like I sneezed.
Tuilapotu.
Yeah, Tuilapotu. He
It's insane.
hasn't really done much.
They draft Kingsley, put him in for a game and a half, and pull him. Like, I don't know. It's just very strange to me that, like, they just don't use people that they have.
They haven't even used C.J. Hansen. They should just pull Trey Smith and use C.J. Hansen.
Might as well.
Dude, I watched
But
it.
isn't it weird though?
Did you? I mean, I know the Chiefs lost. It was hard to be happy, but I went through and looked, and dude, I found a play of Trey Smith just absolutely pancaking and bullying that linebacker that they're so happy about, that Bernard kid.
Oh yeah,
Dude, he destroyed that dude. He rolled him like 14 times. Trey Smith is nasty, dude. He has got to get paid this offseason, right?
yeah. Baca with another 5 bomb says Pat uses his legs in do or die games. He has 167 rushing yards this season through 10 games. He had 141 in 4 games in 2023. He hasn't been running very much, but you're right. Like, usually when games are close, like, Pat will kind of put it on his back. We've seen it in a game or two this year.
He tried it. Do you not remember this game where he took out of the pocket and left and they called a bogus holding call on Wanye Morris?
Yeah.
It was in the final drive.
Yeah, I do remember that, actually.
Not the final drive, but the drive before we...
Right. I don't know.
He broke pocket. Look, he should have... I think what happened on that is that, if I remember that play correctly, D-Hop and Xavier Worthy were in the same vicinity, and their routes, there might have been some miscommunication. They ran almost the same exact route, and they cluttered up the field. And something was wrong. And then he had to break contain, and he got around Wanye Morris's side. And I still don't think Wanye Morris held, but when he broke pocket, he got the first down, and then they called it back for a hold on Wanye. And I don't think it was actually a hold, to be honest. But I think that was honestly a D-Hop, Xavier Worthy miscommunication, which you're going to have. See, that's what I'm saying. This could be very much just answers to all this. You got a rookie and a guy that's been here for 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
Messing up plays. Who would have ever thought that was going to happen, right? So when you got so many moving pieces and so many things rotating, and they didn't have an entire offseason to get the game plan down and do things, you're going to have this. So, I mean, again, at the end of the day, I'm not even mad that we lost the game. I kind of like the fact that we lost the game. That sounds weird.
I don't ever like losing, but
well,
like,
that sounds weird.
Time,
but I don't want the monkey on my back of the undefeated season. I don't want everybody's like, we got to take down the Chiefs because they're undefeated. Like, screw it. We already get enough.
Well, that, and it's just like I fully expected Buffalo to win the regular season,
and it refocuses us. I think it refocuses
whatever,
the team.
Bro.
I like the loss. Sometimes losses are needed, right? They say that in basketball a lot. Was it Bob Knight used to say that? He said something about burying him upside down so you can kiss his ass.
I'm good with that, but I don't like losing. You know, I'm not one of those that was a good loss people. I can't be
really?
one of those. Yeah,
I think you learn more when you lose.
To me, there's no such thing as a good loss. I think if you're a good, smart player, you can learn from wins too.
I mean, you can, but sometimes you just get your ass kicked and you feel bad and you wake up a little.
Well, I mean, I agree to an extent, but I feel like that's something for like a high school team. I feel like a professional team shouldn't have to get their ass kicked to figure it out or to know that they're not playing well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but these guys got a lot of distraction, right? When you're in high school or something, you're looking at girls, you're hanging out. You know, what are we going to do tomorrow? But when you're in the NFL, you got the same problems. You're like, where are we going on vacation? How am I going to spend my $400 million? What's my shoe deal look like next week? Where's my next commercial? How's Taylor Swift doing? I don't know. Like, what do they do?
Well, I mean, if it takes a loss to the bum-ass Bills to literally get you...
Don't call them the bums. I mean... They were second place in all of the AFC. It's not like we lost to a crappy team.
Mike, they're always going to
look how bad we look, though. Think about all that, and think about the fact that we didn't use D-Hop, Kelsey, Pacheco was out,
and only lost by 9.
Still, barring Josh Allen not escaping the pocket because we didn't do a QB spy, like we literally could have won that game, and we played the worst game we've played in 6 years.
And they were playing their best.
Dude, they were just try-harding. They were
pulling plays out their ass,
bro.
weren't they? Yeah. Man, I don't know, but
I don't either.
It's about that time. It's about that time for the playoffs to be rolling around. I mean, we only got a few weeks left, and it's time for them to start executing and getting it together, man. But yeah, appreciate you guys being here today. Do us a favor, hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already, and we'll catch you guys probably maybe tomorrow. Just stick around, keep an eye out, hit that bell. That way you get a notification from YouTube. And we'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Heaven was a sight from my soul.